Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to show you how to do 10 quick questions on the theory app. This is the driving test success 4-in-1 theory app. The link is down in the description down below. I'm going to show you 10 questions on how to break the question down, questions and the answers down, so everything kind of like makes sense. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to click on a theory test, and then we're going to actually go for the second option down, which says practice revision questions. We can actually choose the categories we want, and we're going to choose all categories. We'll choose all the categories. You can actually see on here which categories you can actually individually choose if you liked it. We're going to go for every single one of them, and then we'll click start. Now through the start one, you can choose how many questions you want to do. So we're going to change the 30 questions just to 10 questions as a practice to show you guys how you should be doing things. Click start practice, and that will actually start your test. So question number one. What can people who live or work in towns and cities do help reduce urban pollution levels? Drive short journeys, walk or cycle, drive more quickly, or over rev in a low gear. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the question again. We're going to break that question down, pick out the keywords in that question, and then look at the answers and pick out which one makes more common sense and is the safest option as well. Okay, most of these are going to be about common sense, believe it or not. Okay, let's read the question. What can people who live or work in towns and cities do to help reduce urban pollution levels? Okay, to help reduce urban pollution levels. So drive short journeys. Well, we know that's probably going to use more fuel, so that's not going to reduce pollution levels. Walk or cycle? Well, that kind of makes more common sense. Yeah, walking isn't going to cause any pollution levels, or cycling. Yeah, drive more quickly. Again, you're going to pollute. Over rev in low gear? Definitely not. So we know the safest option here is B, walk or cycle. Makes sense. Break the question down. Look at the answers carefully. All right, once we're happy with it, we'll click next. Why should you take care driving past the man with the cane? Now, first of all, we're going to look at the picture here without actually pressing play. Now, let's look at the options first of all, the answers. He's physically disabled, he's deaf and blind, he's deaf, and he's blind. A, B, C, or D. We can look at the hint. See this hint button here in the top right-hand corner? Well, in the middle. You can actually click on that as well, and it gives you a hint about what it is. So while you're practicing this is always a good option. Think about it. There's a big clue there. We know it says here, if he's got a white cane with a red band, the person is blind and deaf or has hearing impairment. Okay, so let's go back. So we know the answer on this one is going to be B. So we know it's not he's physically disabled. He's not physically disabled. He's deaf or he's blind. Okay, well, let's have a look here. In fact, we're going to have another check here because we can't actually see here. Has he actually got? Yes. Oh, there he is. There's the chap there. So B is the option. He's deaf and blind. So we'll click next on to the next question. Question number 3. What does this sign mean? A. Two-way traffic crosses a two-way road. Two-way traffic crosses a one-way road. Two-way traffic over a bridge. Or a two-way traffic straight ahead. So first thing we need to do is look at the shape of the sign. It's a triangle with a red border. And first of all, think, what does that shape mean? Remember, different shapes have different meanings. So in this case, a triangle with a red border means it's a hazard warning sign. And then there's 2 arrows going side by side inside of that triangle. We can also look at the hint here as well. Is it two-way traffic crosses a two-way road, or two-way traffic crosses a one-way road, two-way traffic over a bridge, or two-way traffic straight ahead? Okay, let's look at the hint. Be prepared for traffic approaching from junctions on either side of you. Try to avoid unnecessary changing of lanes just before the junction. Two-way traffic crosses a two-way road. The answer is actually B. Two-way traffic crosses a one-way road. You're going up a one-way street with a crossroad junction, and in that crossroad junction, traffic will be moving from the left and the right. Question 4. What colour are the reflected studs between the hard shoulder and the left-hand lane of a motorway? Okay, so the hard shoulder is the very left-hand lane, used for emergencies, if you're broken down and so on. Okay, so are they white, amber, red, or green? So this image here shows us our answer. Here's lane 1 on the left where the red car is, lane 2 where the yellow car is, and the third lane is totally empty. Let's look at our studs. Okay, so on the right in the third lane, you've got here the yellow lines there. 2 white studs are in the mid lane, then you've got your green studs, and that's going up into your slip lane. But can you see where the red studs are? The red studs here on the left hand side going all up here to the left hand side, going up the slip lane. So the answer between the hard shoulder and the first lane is red. And we've chosen red anyway. Next question. Where would you expect to see these markers? On a railroad bridge, on a large goods vehicle, on a motorway sign, or on a diversion sign? Okay, again, if it's confusing, let's look at the hint. These markers must be fitted to vehicles over 13 meters long. Large goods vehicles and rubbish skips placed on the road. They're reflective to make them easier to see in the dark. So we know it's going to be to a vehicle. Okay, normally really long lorries as well. On a railroad bridge, they're very similar, but not as quite as this. Motorway sign, they're most likely to be blue. On a diversion sign, no, diversions are normally fully yellow. So we know it is on a large goods vehicle like the hint has told us. So while you're practicing these apps, you can always look at the hint, but let's break the question right down. Let's get on the next question. Question 6. Do you need to plan rest stops when you're planning a long journey? Yes, regular stops help concentration. Or is it B, no, only fuel stops will be needed? C, no, you'll be less tired if you get there as soon as possible? Or D, yes, you should plan to stop every half an hour. So let's think which one would make more common sense, okay? If you've got a long journey, so read the question again. Do you need to plan rest stops when you're planning a long journey? So you've got a long journey. Long journeys on the motorways is actually quite tiring. Let's look at B. No, only fuel stops will be needed. You're going to be quite tired if you're only going to stop for fuel. And you might not need to fuel for several hours. Yeah, so that's B is not a good option. C is no, you'll be less tired if you get there as soon as possible. That means you're going to probably do some speeding, not safe. Because we know it's a long journey, we want to be able to have ample rest in between that time as well. D is yes, you should plan to stop every half an hour. Now, every half an hour is probably stopping too often. Probably want to look to stop every hour and a half. So yes, regular stops will help concentration, get some fresh air, get a drink, use the amenities, and you'll be absolutely fine. Question 7. When may you wait in the area marked with a cycle? When you've turned on your hazard warning lights, when there are no cycles in the marked area, when the traffic lights change to amber after you've passed the first line, or when you've checked your mirrors for cyclists. Let's watch the video. So let's read the question again. When may you wait in the area marked with a cycle? So if you look at the video. So let's look where the mirrors areas marked with the cycles are. There's the cycle box there. When may you wait in the area marked with a cycle? Okay, when you turn your hazard warning lights on, when there are no cyclists in the marked area, when the traffic lights change to amber after you've passed the first line, or when you've checked your mirrors for cyclists. So generally, it's asking when may you wait in it. Okay, so option A, when you've turned on your hazard warning lights, nope, that's not an option at all. When there are no cycles in the marked area, if you're moving forwards, then that's okay. When the traffic lights change to amber after you've passed the first line, yes, that would make option sense. When you've checked for mirrors for cyclists. Well, you're going to check your mirrors for cyclists anyway, just so you know who's around you, who's going to try to overtake you and so on. But if you need to move forwards and your light is green and suddenly change in traffic, then you can stop in it. Okay, again, let's look at the hint. At some traffic lights, there are advanced stop lines where cyclists can position themselves ahead of other traffic. When the lights change to amber or red, you should stop at the first white line. Stay out of the marked area, as this is for cyclists only. However, if you've crossed the first line, when the signal changes to red, you must stop at the second white line, even if you're in the marked area. Allow cyclists plenty of time and space to move off when the lights change to green. So, we can use it if you've passed the first stop line. And if you've stopped in the cycle box before the second stop line, you can stop in it. So the answer is C. Question 8. You're on a long motorway journey. What should you do if you start to feel sleepy? So answer A is stop on the hard shoulder for a rest, play some loud music, leave the motorway and stop in the safe place, or drive faster to complete your journey sooner. So read the question again. You're on a long motorway journey. What should you do if you start to feel sleepy? Now, if you're going to start to feel sleepy, there's not a lot you can do. You can't really snap out of it as such, okay? Stop on the hard shoulder for a rest? No, that's definitely not an option. You should not stop on the hard shoulder for a rest. That's very dangerous. It is only for emergencies, okay? Play some loud music. Now, that could potentially help, but it could distract you as well at the same time. That's probably not a good option here either. Leave the motorway and stop in a safe place. Well, that so far sounds actually pretty good. So you're going to stop, leave the motorway, maybe stop at a service station. That's probably the best option. Wait till you get a service station, park up, get a drink, rest up, maybe have a power nap. Option D is drive faster to complete your journey sooner. That's not a good option either, because remember, you are starting to feel sleepy, you're tired, your concentration level is going to be low, so driving faster, that could be pretty dangerous. So here, C would be the best and the safest option. Leave the motorway and stop in a safe place. Next question, question 9. What's the speed limit for a car towing a trailer on a motorway? Is it 70, 50, 40 or 60? Okay, read the question. What's the speed limit for a car towing a trailer on a motorway? So we know for a car, the speed limit on a motorway is 70, but if they're towing a trailer, you take 10 mile an hour off it, so it's going to be 60. Okay, it's going to be 60 mile an hour on this one. So that's the easy way to work it out. Question 10. You're traveling on a road that has road humps. What should you do when the driver in front is traveling more slowly than you? A. Sound your horn. B. Flash your headlights. C. Slow down and stay behind. Or D. Overtake as soon as you can. Now, there's road humps here for a reason. Okay, it's most likely it's a dangerous road that people have been driving on. There might be a school nearby. When there's schools nearby, there's usually quite a lot of speed humps these days. There can be quite a big clue there. Okay, so the safest thing to do is if the driver in front of you is traveling much more slow than you are, the safest option would be slow down and stay behind him. They might be driving slow because something in front of them you can't see, like there may be a cyclist in front of him. That driver in front of you might not be able to take the vehicle in front of him. So the safest option, slow down and stay behind. Okay, so that's all 10 questions done. So all we need to do now is click the finish button down there and it'll give us our score. There we go. We've just got 10 out of 10. Okay. In this instance, just say the pass mark is 9 out of 10, but we've only done 10 questions as a little test guide, and we'll see how it does. So this is how you got to break the questions down. Now I'm going to do a few more of these over the next bunch of weeks. Show you how to break the questions down and so on. I do a lot of these lives as well. I do lives on these theory tests, so you can show you how we break the question down, how we break the answers down, and then you're going to pick the answer that makes the most common sense, and most of all, is the safest option as well. If you found this video helpful, useful, click the subscribe button, like the video, and also drop me a comment as well. Tell me how you're getting on with your theory test. What problems are you facing? Or if you've passed your theory test, what scores did you get? Let me know. I'll see you again in the next video.